It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 7th day of December 2022. Coming to you live from Grand Cayman. Nice. The last time I was in Grand Cayman, there's six or seven ships out here. The only thing I've seen today so far is us and the Carnival Horizon. So maybe it won't be quite so busy when I go to shore here after the show today. Tomorrow's going to be a really crazy day. We'll talk about that in a minute. The headlines for today: Norwegian increases their fees. Royal Caribbean really kind of screwed up. Wonder of the Seas oversold. Arvia to be named in Barbados. How about that one? And a new ATM program for cruise ships. That and a lot more live here at 11 o'clock this morning. Of course, today, folks, is National Pearl Harbor Day, or National Pearl Harbor Day of Remembrance, however you want to call it, where we set aside this date in our history, the date, of course, that Japan bombed Pearl Harbor and brought us into World War II. And of course, shortly thereafter, Hitler declared war on us, and that's started really the whole thing. But the first thing was the bombing of our ships in Pearl Harbor. So our thoughts and prayers for all the folks that have given their lives then and throughout history serving our country. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. As always, you can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net. And usually on most days, it's posted within 10 or 15 minutes of the end of the show. So it'll be up for your listening pleasure. You can also get it wherever you get your podcast. All the big guys to search for travel and cruise industry news. Up pops the Fat Travel Guy. Anytime you're listening and want to hop over to the video feed to check out any clips or pictures that we might be showing, there's always a link that you can access the video feed in the description to the podcast. All right, tomorrow is going to be a really full day for me. Of course, I have my show at 11. I'm doing an interview for Friday's show, which I'll get to in a second, right after my show tomorrow. And then right after that, we've got the Cruise Amigos. So I'm going to be on the air here for about 3 straight hours. So one of the main things I've got to decide where I'm going to do it tomorrow, because I better make sure that I've got an electrical outlet, because I'd hate for my computer to run out of juice in the middle of that. All right, on Friday, my special guest is going to be Michelle Monroe. She's the daughter of a much-loved singer, Matt Monroe. She's also the author of an international best-selling biography of his life, The Singer's Singer, the life and music of Matt Monroe, and released a brand new album of her father's work, Stranger in Paradise, The Lost New York Sessions, in 2020, which went straight to the number 8 spot in the official album charts, stayed on the charts for 6 months. Michelle is a special interest speaker for several cruise lines, including Celebrity P&O, Princess, Cunard, Fred Olsen, and Royal Caribbean. She's also writing a series of cruise port guide for disabled passengers to complement the Autonomous Cruiser, which she just recently published. When she isn't cruising, she lives in Shropshire. So she'll be our guest on Friday. I'm looking forward to the interview, talking about primarily about her book and the work she's doing on port guides for disabled passengers. So I think that's going to be an interesting interview. And then, of course, we will do the Cruise Amigos tomorrow at 1 o'clock my time, Eastern time. It'll be noon for Nanook of the North Johns. By the way, 17 below up there today. I talked to him a little earlier. And, of course, Amigo Martin over there in the UK. They got some information in this morning from Scootaround on their upcoming holiday promotion. And where did it go here? I got to bring it back up, folks. But anyway, Scootaround starting a big holiday sale. Get 8% off everything on this Scootaround site. So there's going to be holiday savings on anything from the WHILL Powerchairs, which you can save up to $350. The 3-wheeled scooter, the Golden Buzz Around, get about $100 knocked off. And they also have rollators, transport chairs, or maybe something simple like, bathroom safety shower benches. That's something, my situation, I have to have. So maybe you've got somebody in your family that's, mobility challenged and started to have some problems. And there's a big difference in getting in a shower when you can sit down. And I'll tell you why I have to do it. I can stand up long enough to wash my hair, or I can stand up long enough to shower the fat body. I can't stand up long enough to do both. So it's so much easier, especially like in the hotels. I get the accessible rooms, and I've got the bench to sit down in the shower, so I don't kill myself in the shower trying to get my hair washed and take a shower. But anyway, the Scootaround folks got a holiday sale going on now. And you can always check in the description of any of my live streams or major videos. And there's the phone number for Scootaround, my SRN number. If you call them and end up ordering something, I'd actually get credit for it, which is okay. Or you can contact me and I'll be happy to quarterback it for you. So if you're interested in whether it's rental or buying, you can do both. Scootaround, folks. All right, I'll be back with today's news after a real quick break from one of our network sponsors. We just talked about Princess and them changing their rates on gratuities. Well, as soon as that happened, Norwegian comes out with theirs. So Norwegian Cruise Line has decided to increase gratuities to better align with industry standards and provide their crew members with a more competitive compensation package. The Haven and Suite guests who booked the highest level accommodations on the ship will now be charged $25 per day per person. That's a $5 increase from the previous gratuity charge of $20. Club balcony suite guests and all other guests will now be charged $20 per day per person, a $2 increase from the previous gratuity charge of $18 per day, and a $4 increase for guests staying in all other cabin categories other than club balcony. The new pricing is only for bookings made on or after January 1st. For any bookings made before that date, but sailing after January 1st, guests can pay the old pricing as long as they have prepaid their gratuities. The price hike for gratuities by Norwegian is just one of a series of price increases that, we've seen across the industry in the last few weeks or months. Back in September, of course, Norwegian announced a price hike for their beverage packages. It appears here this week that they're eliminating complimentary continental breakfast options from the room service menu, adding a $4.95 charge for that. September, Carnival updated its room service menu and removed some complimentary items. A few days ago, Princess increased gratuities by $1.50 per guest per day for all cabin and suite categories. Royal Caribbean and Carnival have adapted their main dining room policies, adding surcharges on dishes, mostly depending on how many entrees guests order per meal. The bottom line, folks, the cost of cruising is just going up. So, speaking of Norwegian, their Black Friday sale this year was the single best booking day in the cruise line's history, followed by Cyber Monday. Between the two, made for the best week in the cruise line's history. Added to that, another week of nearly records sales. It added up that November was the best month in the company's history. So congratulations to Norwegian. I mean, everybody has done just extraordinarily well the last couple of weeks. It's really surprising. All right, boy, did Royal Caribbean screw up. And I'm sorry, folks, I have problems with how they did this. Royal Caribbean has contacted select guests booked aboard an upcoming sailing of Wonder of the Seas with the unfortunate news that the cruise is oversold and the original stateroom bookings are not available. Guests have been offered some alternatives, but not everyone is happy with that. The email did not note exactly which stateroom categories are oversold, and it's possible that more than one category is involved. Wonder of the Seas has a capacity of 5,734 guests, best on double occupancy, and a total of 2,867 staterooms. When fully booked with all berths filled, as many as 7,084 guests may be on board. They oversold that. The nature of the unexpected inventory error was not explained. Possibly it could be due to a number of factors such as technical difficulties with the cruise line's booking engine or website, miscommunication for group bookings, or other causes. You can tell that that's a quote from Royal Caribbean because it's a bunch of BS. You have so many rooms, and if you got a room booked, you don't book it again. Duh. I have problems with this one, guys. And then even further to confuse the situation, it's happened before. Rhapsody of the Seas back in August had a similar situation where they just flat ass overbooked the cruise. The affected sailing is a 7-night sailing from Port Canaveral, departing on December the 11th. So, it's less than a week from now. Goes to Coco Cay, St. Thomas, St. Martin, typical cruise. Nothing special. other than it's on Wonder of the Seas. Guests whose bookings have been affected can choose a couple of options to compensate for the oversold error. Royal Caribbean is offering guests to move to an interior stateroom for the same sailing. If guests choose that offer, they can still take the cruise they've planned with all the amenities of the largest and newest cruise ship. Guests who do choose to move to an interior cabin will also receive a 100% refund for their cruise fare. So let's say you had a balcony cabin, you paid for it, you're ready to cruise, they give you this notice, you move to an inside cabin, get all your money back, and sail from the inside cabin. I'd do that. But then I don't mind being in an inside cabin. I might have had that book to start with. So something tells me there are some inside cabins available in this overbooking error because they're offering them. It just doesn't make any sense. The only costs not refunded would be the applicable taxes, fees, and gratuities, which means you practically sail for free. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close. Guests will also still be responsible for any other onboard purchases, such as drink packages. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Of course they will. Special offer to sell for zero cruise fare is only available for a limited time and is subject to availability. So in other words, maybe they're going to run out of the interior cabins and say, no, you can't do that. So far they haven't just completely kicked anybody off of the cruise. This is just it's so sad, it's funny. But anyway, I guess there'll be some more news eventually on what happened and what they're going to do about it. How many people are upset with Royal Caribbean now? What a disaster. Anyway. All right. And a first for the industry, P&O Cruises, newest ship, will get a send-off with its naming ceremony, which is to be held in a beachside extravaganza in the Caribbean island of Barbados, which will be the home port for the ship when it starts sailing in March of 2023. Guest Arvia will be anchored off Barbados when it's named on March 6th, and what the line is calling a spectacular event. I wouldn't mind sailing with P&O. I've never sailed on P&O. I've had a lot of good comments and reports on the Iona. And of course, Arvia will be the sister ship. I wouldn't mind that at all. One of the drawbacks on some cruise lines, like this one, is ATM machines. This ship has no ATM machines. WHILL, a financial technology company, has launched a new ATM program for cruise lines. The program will provide cruise ships across a range of ATM services, including cash withdrawal, deposits, and balance inquiry. Several cruise lines already work with WHILL on that handle their payroll services. So it's going to fit right in line to tie in the ATM situation. So that's one we might see spread through the industry because it's definitely been a problem. It's going to be interesting to see if they're going to have it all tied to one bank in one country, or if it's going to be tied to multiple banks, multiple currencies. I mean, there's a lot of things you know, I can see where dealing with cruise lines would be a problem. So anyway, Brightwell apparently hasn't worked out. So we'll see what happens. All right, that's going to close out the news portion of today. Again, hope everybody will be with me tomorrow. I'm looking forward to going into Grand Cayman today, even though that's getting on another tender. I've tendered into Grand Cayman once before, and I got into the dock, and there was so many people, just throngs of people on the dock, and I said, nah. I turned around to the guy on the tender, and I said, I'll ride back. And so they took me back to the boat. So anyway, I'm going to try going in today, just the one Carnival ship here. Maybe I can get in without killing myself. All right, let's see who's in the chat room, who's fussing at me this morning. I saw that Kenny's with us. Kenneth is with us. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Eddie's here. Hi, Eddie. Sonny's here down in Mississippi. Nikki's with us. Katie's here. Morning, everybody, she says. Unfortunately, home with a bad earache. Oh, that's not good. Robert's with us this morning. Good morning, Robert. Hi, Cindy. Hot Air Tom. We are back home. Wow. I thought it was about time. I'm certainly glad you're back home, Tom. Now you can wash your 2 pair of underwear. Robert says, hopes Katie feels better soon. And Katie, you need to get yourself all well for the next time I'm down there in Port Canaveral. Get you to come over for lunch. That's on a Sunday, so you're not going to be working. So we can probably work out a luncheon. We'll see. I've never sailed into Port Canaveral as a port of call before, so that's going to be kind of interesting too to see how that works, around the ships coming and going. And Sunday's a busy port day too, so I don't know. We'll see how that works, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. Nikki says, I saw your pizza review. Oh, damn it, I want pizza. I tell you what, that was pretty good pizza. It was very strange toppings for me, but it was good. It was called the Bronx. It had spicy capicola. It had Italian sausage. It had pepperoni. It had tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese. There was one other item on it. Not spicy ham. Yeah, anyway, a ham derivative was on there. But it was really good. The crust was just exceptionally well done. I'm surprised. That's probably the best crust I've ever eaten on any pizzas. I mean, it was that good. Definitely at sea. It's up there equal to the really good Sorrentos, if not maybe a little better, just because the toppings were so different. But it was excellent. So I enjoyed that a lot. And it's a I don't know what size the pizza was, maybe 12-inch. And they didn't have it in slices. You had to buy it. It's not, you don't have to pay for it. But you get the whole pizza, which, like Dennis suggested, I could always carry a Ziploc bag with me, take it back to the room, and have pizza and wake up in the middle of the night, which he's got a good point there. But it was so good, I sat there and ate the whole damn thing. Of course, I was having an adult beverage too, so I didn't mind. Kay says, love the pizza reviews. There's Dennis. Hi, Dennis. Yeah, I like the idea of, Dennis said, carries Ziploc bags with him. And I never thought about doing that. But that's not a bad idea. Nikki says, "Welcome home, hot air Tom." I don't have the crazy stories to come up with now about hot air Tom getting in trouble. I enjoyed that, Tom. Hot Air says, "I also heard that the NCL room service for hot items was reduced from $9.95 to $4.95 to align with the new charge for the continental breakfast." I said they reduced something too. I didn't have that in any of my notes. Of course, I got one of the nasty grams from Norwegian telling me about the gratuity increase. Because I'm, of course, booked on Norwegian for a couple cruises. "We don't like eating in the room, so they can charge $24 for all I care." I don't eat in the room much either. I tell you what I did do this morning, which I was really kind of surprised about. I'm up at ridiculous hours to start researching stuff because I have to check all my European sources and see what's happened over there. And I had run out of my Diet Coke. And I called room service. I don't know, it's probably 5 o'clock. It was way too early before, the buffet opens, which is also where the Coke machine is, so that I can, fill up my Diet Coke. And so I called room service. Hell, I don't care what it's going to cost. They can send me a couple cans of Diet Coke. They said, "No, we can't do it. The bars aren't open." I said, "You don't have Diet Coke in your room service?" And they said, "No, the bar has to be open before we can get that." Wow, that's strange. So you can't get sodas from room service. Everybody's still speaking back and forth. "Cost of cruising is going up for sure." Yep, that's right. That's why I have cruises booked out to 2025 already. Look for lower and get price adjustments if they go down. Well, that's one thing you taught me, Cindy. I started doing that, and what cruise was it? The one from Bayonne. I'm going up to Canada in May, I think it is. I got I think it was like $100 and some dollars knocked off. So I got a nice chunk knocked off of that. Came very close that I don't owe them anything. So, and by the way, folks, if you don't do that, what you book a cruise, you keep a balance on the cruise until the last minute you have to pay for it. And if you catch a price drop or like a sale, just call them up and say, "Hey, can I get that? That's the sale price on the cruise," and they'll do it. They'll adjust the price. So, but you have to have a balance. Yeah, I used to book cruises and pay for them. You want to book this, I don't have to worry about it. Well, I learned. So you put a deposit down, you keep a balance, and you check it every so often. Or if there's a sale going on, it might save you some money. It might not. Then when it's time to pay it, you pay it off. There's still excellent daily rates for cruise fares. Yeah, that part of it has not been going up quite as fast as I thought it would, but they're nickel and diming you to death everywhere else. The gratuities, I really don't find fault with that because I know where it goes, and these guys need the money. So, as long as the service is good. Now, I hate like hell to pay a fat gratuity if the service isn't good. But then I always give extra over and above the standard gratuities to, always to my room stewards. I've got 2 stewards this week. So I guess I'm going to tip both of them because they both have done things for me. Always my waiter, sometimes 2 waiters at the main dining room. And if there's been a bartender that's done something special for the week, I've been having so much fun with some of these guys. Like I started posting some things today, which I'm going to try to post crew members. So where is it? There he is. This is Jay. He's a bartender at the Lido bar. So I took his picture and I said, "Hey Jay, where you from?" And he says, "North Philly." I said, "North Philly, my butt." He says, "No, North Philippines." I said, "Okay, you got me on that one." And then this is the most important lady on the ship. This is, now let me see if I can remember how to pronounce her name. It's Shakana. She's also from the Philippines. And the most important lady on the entire cruise ship, she's the one that fixes my eggs Benedict every morning. And so I got her right up the top of the list. So another thing that I'll point out to you, my buddy Elizabeth on location down at Cozumel. That's Elizabeth. And Alma over at the No Name Bar, yesterday was her birthday. So they put together a surprise birthday party. They got T-shirts made for the event. They had cards done that everybody signed that's been in there for a while. They flew her mother in from Mexico City, and that's her hubby that was there also. So Alma had a big birthday party at the No Name Bar. Too bad I wasn't in Cozumel. I would have enjoyed partying with them. So there's some fun, folks. All right, let's get back over here in the chat room. Let's see, where was I? Katie says she's booked on Wonder in November. It's nice. Where'd it go here? A reminder that the turtle sanctuary is a farm. They raise them to be eaten. Oh. Solo balcony staterooms on P&O are excellent. I don't like the dress codes. More to pack. So they're more of a formal type line. I've never sailed on P&O. Royal Caribbean's one of my favorite in the cruise line market segment. Maybe they're reselling the upgraded statements for more than the original booking. Well, that's always a possibility. Everybody's telling Katie to feel better. Katie says lunch sounds great. Yeah, that'd be great. The pizza did look good, and the variety of toppings was a delicious combination. I thought so too. Dennis commented on the video when he saw it. I enjoyed it. I haven't heard from Jason yet because I always do these for Jason. So he's the one that started me doing pizza reviews. Kenneth says, sounds like the airlines, they overbook all the time. I think it was really I don't think this was done intentionally. The airlines, I think, do it intentionally. But I just can't imagine how a computer generated system like that could screw up something like overbooking the cruise ship. I have trouble with that. Pomodoro. That's the tomato sauce on the pizza. Pomodoro. I'm trying to remember the A in Italian is pronounced ah, as in father. Yes. Oh. Yeah, but it's Pomodoro. Pomodoro. Doesn't have an A. Anyway, I was practicing on that when you sent that to me on the video. So I was sitting in my stateroom this morning practicing that in the mirror. Pizza was included in the cruise fare. Yes, it was. It wasn't a specialty restaurant. That's just a straight up, another place you can eat. I always travel with large zip seal bags. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Because they don't take any space. I can stick one of those in my either in my suitcase or in my travel bag that I keep my computer stuff and all my meds and crap in. Because they don't take any space at all. So yeah, great idea. That's one that I'm going to incorporate. Is have a Ziploc bag just in case I need something like that. The Bronx is a pretty weird borough. Roger grew up there. And rappers, Candy B, and Ice Spot. Wow. Yeah. Well, that's what the pizza was called. It was the Bronx. The gratuity increase doesn't bother me if you can't afford to pay an extra 10% per person. Maybe you should reconsider your holiday choices. I tend to agree with that, Dennis. I don't mind paying the gratuities. And I really don't think I don't think that's going to change what I do on the extra side too, because I give them some cash. Hot Air Tom does non-cash things that they like too. I mean, he found some socks that crew members really like. I know that sounds weird, but he'll sometimes take a selection of pairs of socks and give those to some of the guys, and they love them because they're on their feet, 100 hours a day. I forget the brand it was, but he's done that before, and he's given gift cards as opposed to cash. I just did cash is the way I always have done it. Oh, there's Hot Air Tom talking now. I would disagree with that info on keeping a balance. I have had fully paid cruises that still get repriced and I get a refund. Oh, no, I didn't know that, Hot Air. I thought that if they were likely not to give you the repricing if it was paid in full. All right, there's some more information, folks. See, there you get. I learn something every day, and so does everybody else. Could you save some money with a price adjustment? I'm always checking mine. Some have really gone up since I booked. A few have gone down. Yeah, it's I never did it before, and Cindy taught me that one. So now, yeah, I check. I don't check it all the time, but I'll check it once a month or something like that, just to see what's balanced. What the new pricing is, if there is any new pricing. Especially when we start getting up closer. If they're not full, they're going to start lowering prices to try to fill the ship. So. Then it says, same here. I also offer a nice note on embarkation to leave another nice note. The service was excellent. This is above and beyond the standard gratuity. Yep, agree. Totally agree. Hey, Chillie, have you updated your cruise list on your page? Yeah, it's updated as of, well, I haven't taken this cruise off yet, I don't think. Yeah, I keep it up all the time. As soon as I book a cruise, it goes up. P&O is good. Excellent afternoon tea. Very, very English. Yeah, that I've heard also before. I'm not an afternoon tea guy. That's anything that makes a bit of difference to me. I'm not a tea guy anyway. But always, Chillie, always look how well done the pizza crust is done on the bottom. Yeah. I know back after the days when I cooked pizzas. And I have done that before, many, many years ago. Pomodoro means tomato. Pomodoro sauce, tomato sauce. The A is capicola on that pizza. The A is for it's capicola. Capicola. Is that better? I still, it doesn't, I don't have the ear for all of these words yet. For the service I get on NCL, it's worth it. I agree. $10 US, not 10%. Okay. Gotcha. Our limited trips are normally 15% or 20% of the base. Imagine that cruise line tips would be like at 18% of the base fare. Oh, yeah. The socks are, that's it, bombas. They hug your feet. Dennis says, I usually book last minute. This cruise was kind of a last minute cruise for me, and it was a bargain, which is, I booked it for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to get back on a Holland American ship, and I'm glad I did. Some of you might also want to catch the post I did this morning on my blog about the accessible bathrooms on this ship, which was quite an interesting story, I thought. I found, actually, when I found the second public accessible restroom that's not accessible, there's no automatic doors. And if you're on a scooter or a wheelchair, to try to get the door open and get inside, and they're heavy doors too, they're not the lightweight doors. It's pretty tough. I've got a couple new bruises on my arms from the door crashing into me. So picture that you have to bend over like my scooter steering mechanism that's about belly height. So I got to tilt real over that, reach past the front of the scooter to get to the door handle, back the scooter up to pull the door past the scooter, hold it open, get the scooter turned so it can go in the door of the restroom, squeeze through the door, and then as you go past it, I got to let go of the door and it crashes into my arm before I can get inside the bathroom. That's not an accessible bathroom, folks. That's a bathroom. Now, the inside of it's fine. It's got plenty of room. I can turn the scooter around. All the things are in there that need to be in there. But without having an automatic door, it's not. Just not. So I went down to guest services and I said, okay, I found this. This is two of them. And the girl she didn't understand. So I showed her the video I made. She still didn't get it. So I took her to a bathroom. And I said, okay, let me demonstrate. And she saw how much struggle I had to do to get into the bathroom. She understood then. So she promised that she'd pass it on up the line and thank me and all these crap. So yesterday, um, I went ashore, which we were down on the really rough end of Ocho Rios, and I got out there. I made it up to the road, and I looked at the road, and I looked at the sidewalk, and there was nothing, absolutely nothing at this pier. No shops, no restaurants, no bars, nothing that you could see in either direction. And it had to be probably a good close to a mile, I would guess, to the other pier, which I've been to that other pier, and that area, which is right next to the resort at Ocho Rios, that's pretty nice. And there's stuff to do there. But I took a look at that road and I said, no, I can get back on the ship. So I got back on the ship and I was thinking, well, let's just take a survey of all the restrooms. So I went to all the public restrooms on the ship, all the men's public restrooms. And I came up with 12 accessible restrooms that were inaccessible. So I went back to the guest services with that information, and the girl that I talked to wasn't there, of course. So I gave all that information, explained everything again to the other guy, and he pulled up my computer file and from my room and stuff. And says, "Oh, I see this, and such is she's looking into it, and she's going to pass the information on up the line." And I said, "Oh, okay, that's great." So he said, "Thanks." He thanked me. "Thank you for the information." Great. I figured that'd be the end of it. Wouldn't hear another thing. So I go back to the room last night. It was actually after dinner. I did a couple things, and then I went back to the room to work on the pizza video because I wanted to get that up. And about 9 o'clock, the phone rings. And it's somebody from Holland America. Not somebody on the ship, somebody from America. And they're thanking me for the information. And the lady says, "I just wanted you to know that the new Staten Dam is going into dry dock early next year. And one of the main things we're looking at is the accessibility features. And clearly we are going to put automatic door openers on all of the restrooms." I said, how cool is that? To give them, complain about it. Obviously somebody else has complained about it to them before, but then to get a call from them that, it's going to be done. It's going to be fixed. Well, sure can't be upset about that one. So anyway, I put that in a post this morning on the blog. Hot Air says with NCL, at least the critical date is the pay in full date. No repricing after that. Yeah, well, that's why I left a balance, so that I knew that I wouldn't get shut out of one. I didn't know you could pay it in full early and still get them to reprice it and give you a refund. It seems easier to me to just leave a balance, even if it's a small balance. So anyway, last week's butler was already wearing bombos, but was happy to receive a couple more pairs. That's a nice tip. I totally agree. Dennis says, "Thank you for the bombas tip." Yeah, but you can't see them. Rios rhymes with dos. Rios. Ocho Rios. Did I say that wrong? Ocho Rios. I was saying Rios. Rios. Okay. Ocho Rios, the 8 rivers. Dennis, you are a wealth of information. Katie, I just tell you what, I mean, every time I do a show, I hope Dennis is here because I know he's going to keep correcting me on things. One of these days, I'll get them right. So I keep trying. I don't stress rolling the R because it's an English pronunciation and generally accepted without rolling the R. You know, I'm trying to put the rolling the R in there, and my tongue just doesn't want to do that. So that's a hard one for me. Fincantiari, meraviglia. They're just that my tongue doesn't want to roll, and then I'm thinking about rolling the R and probably screwing up the other vowels. Anyway, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. I've enjoyed today. It's been a good show. I am going to go ashore here in Grand Cayman for a while this afternoon. I'll get the show processed and then go ashore for a while. Again, tomorrow is going to be crazy. I'll do the show at normal time. Then I'm going to interview Michelle and tape the interview, which will be on the show Friday. Should be a good interview, I would think. And then the Cruise Amigos after that tomorrow. So that'll keep me busy. Oh, wow. Sorry about that. Talk too much. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. We'll get together one of these days. Thanks, guys. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.